life, who designs for water? Moen.
Hey, it's Tom P., host of Rack and Fin Radio, inviting you to join me every Saturday morning at 7 here on 97.3 ESPN FM. Each week, we discuss the hot topics affecting the sportsmen and sportswomen in New Jersey. Hunting, fishing, boating, conservation, and Second Amendment topics are some of the issues that are covered in depth.
Rack and Fin Radio is brought to you by Batteries Plus Bulbs.
Every Saturday morning at 7 on 97.3 ESPN FM, South Jersey's sports leader.
South Jersey's play-by-play home for the Eagles,
touchdown!
Sixers, and Flyers.
He scored!
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD Millville, Atlantic City, a Town Square media station. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app. Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
What a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Well, I got some news for you guys. The Phillies didn't just break their winning streak last night. I think they might have re-energized the conversation about them. Oh, and by the way, the Eagles are preparing for Washington. Of course, you can hear all of the action for the Eagles versus Washington this Sunday right here on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. By the way, we will have Phillies versus Braves tomorrow night. So there's a lot of interesting moving parts here because so a lot of people are trying to jump on board the Aaron Judge train. All of a sudden now the Yankees game will be on Apple TV Plus tomorrow night. And then the ESPN radio will have Yankees and Red Sox over the weekend. But we got you Phillies and Braves tomorrow night, thanks to ESPN radio here on 97.3 ESPN. And then Saturday, of course, our touchdown radio game of the week is going to be one of the biggest rivalries in SEC football, Florida versus Tennessee. 1992 Heisman Trophy winner and college football analyst for Touchdown Radio Network, Gino Torretta, joins us coming up in less than 20 minutes from now. As always, you can join the conversation, whatever's on your mind. 609-403-0973 is the text board. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. I will get to the Phillies in just a minute, but we didn't have a lot of time to touch on this earlier today on the Sports Bash, but I just kind of want to bring this back around. Some of you who have been listening throughout the day may be wondering, I didn't hear about the Eagles injury report today. You didn't hear about it because there's no news, and no news is good news. Nobody did not practice today. Everyone was a limited participant on the report, and the only people with actual injury designations were 3 players. Quez Watkins missed time with what they're describing as a non-COVID illness, because, that's a term in today's society. You have Son Reddick was limited with a knee issue. Avonte Maddox is limited with a back issue. Everyone else had limited practice due to rest. And this is a lot to do with because the Eagles played on Monday night, and the Eagles are trying to not overwork the guys on a short week. Obviously, you have one less day to prepare, so the anticipation is probably tomorrow is going to be the majority of the actual practicing for the week, and the rest of the week has been a lot of install. So, and again, good news on the Eagles front. It's always good when there's not any significant injuries. It's always a good thing that they are in a good position to move forward. And we'll break down more of the keys to the game here on Game Night tomorrow night as we are getting closer to the Eagles game. But I do want to bring up one small thing, and that is this. When I've been talking to people throughout the week, on the air and off the air, I think the general consensus has been what we saw from Jalen Hurts on Monday night is not going to be what he does every single week, right? You can't assume that what you saw one night is going to happen every night. But here's what does happen with Jalen Hurts. Now that we saw him passing at a high level, a high completion percentage, a game that the Eagles offense controlled from basically beginning to end, and the defense came up huge. Every aspect of the team did their job mostly, aside from the offensive line with the penalties and then the block kick on the field goal attempt. Aside from those two things, the Eagles had a very well-rounded win. So the question is, can they take what they did on Monday night and repeat it this Sunday in Washington? And my inclination is to say they can repeat it because of who their opponent is. See, that's where the rub is for me. I'm not trying to downplay the Eagles team. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to be fair to the situation. And the situation is this. Washington is not a bad team, but they're not a great team either. You know, for those who have not watched Washington, I have been fortunate to be able to watch a lot of this team the last 2 weeks because of where I was in relation to where the games were. And I was focused, very interested in the Washington-Jacksonville game because of Doug Peterson versus Wentz. And I was curious about the Detroit-Washington game because you were playing Washington coming up and you had already played Detroit. And what Washington has shown you through the first 2 weeks of the year is that their defense can be had, easily be had. And that's very odd because Ron Rivera, who played on that 85 Bears team, by the way, that was one of the greatest defense of all time, defensive-minded coach, by the way, coach Philadelphia, Andy Reid, you would think a veteran guy like that would have a better defense. Jack Del Rio, he usually has very good defenses everywhere he goes, whether it was in Denver, whether it was in Vegas with the Raiders, whether it was in Jacksonville when he was down there. They have the 27th points against on defense. They're allowing 29 points a game this year. That's not the all of it. They are 20th most passing yards allowed in the NFL, 28th most rushing yards allowed in the NFL. In the total yards category, they're 25th. This is easily a game the Eagles can replicate what they've been doing on offense. The bigger question is, what do you do about the Washington offense? Because they are one of the better passing offenses in the NFL. They are 6th in total yards. They are 2nd most passing yards, 3rd most pass attempts. So Wentz has been slinging it. Wentz has not played as poorly as people like myself assumed he would have at this point in the season, because Wentz historically has not been a guy who has always gotten off to a hot start. It's kind of been a hit or miss thing. Some years he gets off to a hot start, like 2016, 2017, but then you had 2018, 2019, 2020 got off to sluggish starts. And then 2020, as we know, he never rebounded. He got benched, and the rest is history. He has done overall a good job down in Washington. 65% completion percentage, 650 passing yards, 7 touchdowns versus 3 interceptions. So the question is, if we know the Eagles can replicate the offensive output, can the defense replicate what they did against Minnesota? I tend to believe they can, because I think that Kirk Cousins and Carson Wentz are similar in the fact that if you get in their faces, they're more likely to make mistakes. So as we get closer, I'll break down more of this game tomorrow and my keys to the game. But right now, here on Thursday, with Thursday football tonight here on 97.3 ESPN FM, coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. The Browns and the Steelers, another division rivalry, which is basically almost as old as the Steelers and the Browns, Washington and Philadelphia. You could argue that the Eagles could almost trot out the same type of game plan, maybe not identical game plan, but the same type of game plan and get similar results this Sunday in Washington. Again, Mel Reese, Mike Quick on the call here in your home for Eagles football and the NFL in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN I'd be neglectful if I don't bring up the Phillies, not just because they're going to be heard tomorrow night. Braves, Phillies tomorrow night on 97.3 ESPN FM. We'll have coverage beginning at 7 o'clock tomorrow night following game night here. But I got to give the Phillies credit. I was saying yesterday that the Phillies had to show me something. They broke the 5-game losing streak in dramatic fashion. And they did so in a way that I think could be a spark for them. They went out there and showed you that they are serious when it comes to fighting. They may not be the best team in baseball, but they are fighting tooth and nail in these games. And a game last night where they were down, they found a way to stay in it, get the job done, and win the game in extra innings. And aside from Matt Vierling, who went 5 for 5, including the game-winning RBI, I thought that the Phillies showed a lot of resilience last night. And I believe that that's the kind of win that can give you the kind of confidence boost heading into this series with the Braves. Because you're not in Atlanta, you're in Philadelphia. Okay, so you can take the Atlanta series, put it on the back burner. The 5-game losing streak is over. It's not going to be an easy stretch. But the good news is no Strider for this series. For the Braves, they're sending out Max Fried tonight, Jake Odorizzi tomorrow, Kyle Wright on Saturday, and Morton on Sunday. So the good news is for the Phillies this weekend, no Strider. You don't have to worry about him. Fried is very good. He's arguably not their best pitcher, their second best pitcher behind Strider. So tonight should be a difficult game. But if Ranger Suarez can keep you in the game, then we might have, a game when we get to the 7th inning where that's what will be decided kind of thing. Nola's got to win the game tomorrow night. Odorizzi is not a great pitcher. And I understand you've already faced him and, you lost that game. But I thought you lost that game more because what happened with Nola and what happened with the bullpen, then you lost it because of Odorizzi. Odorizzi is not some legendary pitcher out there. What he did versus the Phillies was the complete opposite he did the start before against the Mariners. And he's not a guy who goes deep into a lot of games. If you go through since he was traded to Atlanta, he only has 3 starts where he's gone 5 innings or more. All of his other starts are under 5 innings. So he's not a guy that's going to give you a lot of depth. So maybe you can knock him around, get to the Braves bullpen early, and then have a chance to take that game tomorrow night. And if you split the first 2 games, guess what? You go into Saturday and Sunday with the idea that, hey, all we need is one more game. We split this series. And frankly, if we're being honest, Saturday might be your best option to split the series. So a lot of things are interesting with the Phillies. So don't forget tomorrow night, Phillies, Braves here on 97.3 ESPN FM. I'm Josh Hennig, hanging out with you here on Game Night. Coming up on the other side, of course, we will check in with you guys to say on the text board. 609-403-0973 is the text board. You also can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. But coming up next, 1992 Heisman Trophy winner Gino Torretta joins the show as we will get into the college football weekend. Gino joins us every week thanks to Touchdown Radio, their game of the week. Will be a big-time SEC rivalry game, Florida at Tennessee, Saturday at 3:30 p.m., part of our triple header of college football action here on 97.3 ESPN FM. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on a Thursday night as we are about an hour and change away from coverage starting for Thursday football on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Tomorrow night on ESPN Radio.
Ronald Acuna Jr. with a bomb.
2 teams hunting for October go head-to-head in a critical showdown. While the Atlanta Braves are fighting for the NL East lead, the Philadelphia Phillies are in a battle for the NL wild card.
Racing over there, Schwarber, did he make the catch? He did! Wow. Oh, my goodness.
The Braves at the Phillies.
Listen to Major League Baseball on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins at 7 p.m.
The Tomato Law Firm focuses their practice on representing those who have been seriously injured in construction, product liability, and motor vehicle collisions. Their firm handles cases throughout the country, primarily focusing on representing injured victims in Southern New Jersey. They've been focused on helping accident victims in Southern New Jersey for more than 50 years. If you've bing seriously injured, do not wait. Call Tomato Law today at 609-926-3300 or visit DAMATOLawFirm.com.
This is Loyalty Lab Interview 6. Subject, grandmother's loyalty. Margie, what do you do when your grandson misbehaves?
Angels don't misbehave.
Here we study the most loyal, like you and... Oh, there goes the lamp.
Shouldn't have put it there.
Shell and the Fuel Rewards program has our members' backs too. It's super easy to save on every gallon. Loyal, just like how you acted like that wasn't his fault.
Someone should clean that up before he gets hurt.
Yes, loyal, just like that.
10 years of FR.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, Tom Bodette for Motel 6, leaving the light on for truckers. As a thanks for all you do, we're asking America to bring back the air pump salute. We know you miss kids doing it. It always brought a smile to your face on an otherwise lonely stretch of road. So keep an eye out for wound-up kids in the back seat pumping their little arms off. Then give them an air horn blast that'll blow their tiny minds. I'm Tom Bodette for Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on. For you.
You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, but when we just come out and say it, it feels like it falls a bit flat. So instead, we're going to hire a professional voice actor and pay him absurd amounts of money to say,
I like this product.
Not sure why that was better. I mean, I'm a professional too, but we didn't pay him to say the business part, so back to me. Save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. Sorry, I know hearing me say it was a bit of a letdown. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
The opioids I was prescribed made me feel worse.
I was pregnant, addicted, and scared.
I thought painkillers would get me back on the field faster. I was wrong.
Then I heard about 844-REACH-NJ.
I got into treatment and delivered a healthy baby girl.
844-REACH-NJ was the call I needed to make.
I'm glad I made the call.
I made the call.
Hello, REACH-NJ.
If you or someone you love is struggling with addiction, call 844-REACH-NJ from the New Jersey Department of Human Services.
If it's just another day, that doesn't mean you deserve just another shower. Nebbia by Moen Quattro creates 4 unique shower experiences: relieve, soothe, clarify, and cleanse, to give you all the escape while using 50% less water than standard showers, making your everyday routine an experience. Water designs our life. Who designs for water? Moen.
You wash your hands and brush your teeth, but what about your nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage pulls saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, dirt, and germs, and it's why nose cleaning is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons: sinusitis, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they also find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Nearly 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying things like, best product I've ever used, and amazing, I love my Navage. That's because Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less. But the biggest payoff is improved health. Here's the key point. Navage is good personal hygiene, and it's going to help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, Target, and online. Navage, Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Ocean Casino Resort is the ultimate fantasy draft party spot. Go for the bragging rights this fantasy football season and plan your draft party at Top Golf. Each party receives a dedicated VIP draft space or private bay at Top Golf for up to 4 hours. An ocean draft board, swag bag, championship trophy, and more. Your fantasy football season starts here at Ocean Casino Resort. For more details, visit theoceanac.com. Go to Ocean. Go for the win. Let's go! Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge.
But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $69.99.
You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
any trade, any trade, any trade. Bring any trade to Matt Blatt Nissan, and AJ the Trade Man will give you more for your trade so you can drive away with peace of mind with Matt Blatt Nissan's exclusive 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
Oh, yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
So cash in your vehicle now before it's too late and drive home in a new Nissan today. Because if you have a job clearing $350 per week, you can be approved today with 0 down, 0 payments for 90 days, and 1.9% financing. Stuck in a loan or lease? Matt Blatt Nissan will get you released. Just because you don't see your new Nissan on the lot doesn't mean you can't drive it home tomorrow. MattBlattNissan.com. Negative equity will be refinanced at the new vehicle. Interest accrues from date of sale. Not all will qualify. Offers can't be combined. Call 877-289-6670 or go to MattBlattNissan.com for complete details. Offer ends 10/6/22. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Game Night being brought to you by my friends over at Jenkins & Sons. Call Jenkins now about a new heating and air conditioning system from American Standard or Bosch. Ask about rebates and no interest financing. Don't wait, because they have units from American Standard and Bosch in stock right now. Ask about an annual maintenance service plan with low monthly payments and schedule the all-important tune-up today. That's Jenkins Heating, Plumbing, and Air Conditioning. One call does it all, 609-641-6262, or visit them online at jenkinsandsons.com. Let's get into the college football weekend slate. I can't believe it's week 4, basically, college football, and talk more about it. Of course, you hear him each weekend here on 97.3 ESPN. This weekend, the Touchdown Radio Network Game of the Week. That would be, just drew a blank. Oh, Tennessee hosting Florida. You would think I literally said it before the break. I said it to Gino off the air, and my mind drew a blank. Gino, I guess I'm getting old. How you doing, my friend?
I always say it's CTE.
I think you using that excuse is a little bit better than mine, because you actually played football in college and I didn't. Okay. So.
I can just tell you this: my first concussion was baseball my junior year of high school. You can always use it, unfortunately, if you had, or you can just purport that you've had a head injury.
Well, I did play catcher in high school, so I got that going for me.
There you go. There you go.
Gino, I want to first start with the game you have this Saturday, because this is one of the oldest rivalries in the SEC. And it's one of those rivalries I don't think people talk a lot about, because Alabama is not involved or Georgia's not involved. But, this game this Saturday could basically determine the rest of the season for both of these teams.
Well, no question. I think, just a little history, obviously, that, this was kind of where the SEC East went through Florida or Tennessee for years. I mean, when Peyton Manning was there, when T. Martin was there, and they won right after Peyton won or left. And then, I think that, then you had the years of Spurrier, and, this was the deal. I mean, and just recall, like, we go back to late 90s, this thing might have cost Peyton Manning the Heisman Trophy, because I mean, it was all, hey, he had to beat Florida and win a national championship, and they couldn't get over the hump. I mean, Spurrier had their number for years. I think the reason people haven't talked about is Florida and Tennessee kind of they haven't been both good at the same time. This time they're, ranked in the, both ranked in the top 20. So we should get a good one.
Tennessee's kind of been in the wilderness for years, Gino, and now Josh Heupel comes in, and he basically, I don't know if it's just recruiting. I don't know if he's changed like the environment. Like what do you put your finger on for why Heupel has been able to do what the previous group of coaches have not been able to do at Tennessee?
Well, I think one is people I think forget Josh Heupel was a finalist for the Heisman, won a national championship while he was a quarterback at Oklahoma, was successful at UCF, and they go out there fast paced. They want to snap the ball every 18 seconds on offense. Their offense is just really, has played well early. And I think that, we talk about, every week we talk about quarterback play. Hendon Hooker's 24 years old. He's one of the oldest quarterbacks in college football. He's experienced. He was good at Virginia Tech. Now he's at Tennessee, second year of a system. Tennessee's got some playmakers on the outside. Way back when, the Alvin Harper days, the Tim McGee days, Tennessee was known as wide receiver U. That's why, those quarterbacks and like Peyton Manning went to schools like Tennessee was to throw to those big targets. So I think that that's what he's got. He's got some talented guys. He's got some key positions that stayed around for a 6 year, especially at quarterback. And offensively, they've just been rolling.
On the other side, you mentioned quarterbacks, Anthony Richardson. When I heard this earlier today, Gino, I had to go double check and make sure I was hearing things right. I didn't realize that Richardson has thrown 0 touchdowns this year. He has 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. People were all hyped about him after that first game versus Utah, but it feels like after the Kentucky loss and then them barely beating USF, a lot of the fervor around Richardson has died down.
Well, and I think what it is, I think what we're probably seeing is why Dan Mullen didn't start him and kind of, platooned him last year. When you see his athleticism and you see his arm strength, I mean, it's pretty impressive to watch, but then when you're out there and then teams, what they've tried to figure out, they say, okay, well, we're not going to let him, scamper off on a 75, 80-yard run against us. We're going to make him methodically go down the field. We'll spy him with the defensive lineman. We won't stay in our rush lanes. Won't let him, beat us with his legs. And you see what defenses have had success. And, it's almost had a tough game last week. And I think one of the guys on TV said he got tired of playing board football. And I would agree. It's like quarterbacks at times, you get antsy. You want to go for the big play, but sometimes it's just throwing 5-yard routes that turn into 15-yard gains. You got to keep doing that over and over again. It gets boring, but boring wins you games.
When you look at Tennessee, a lot of people are presuming they're going to win this game. So let's work off of that presumption for a minute. Look, their schedule doesn't get easier. They got Alabama in a couple weeks after they got Kentucky, then they got to go to Georgia. But how big is it, Gino, for this team to go into those matchups like Alabama, who they're coming Alabama 2, Rocky Top, undefeated? How big is it for the Volunteers to be like, hey, we're playing Alabama, but they're coming to our house, so we're undefeated?
Well, I think it's huge. I mean, I think that, especially in the college, it grows exponentially with each win. And back home against Alabama, they got Kentucky, who's top 10 at home, and then they got to travel to Georgia. So yeah, it's a tough road, but I think that the SEC East, everybody thinks Georgia is just going to take it in a walk, and Georgia might win the SEC East, but they got some tough games and versus Kentucky. Tennessee can give anybody a match anytime you got a quarterback that's experienced and they got an offense that can put up points. So, but like you said, yeah, it's huge for young teams, in college football, young players to win these games, and then it just builds confidence as they go through the season.
1992 Heisman Trophy winner Gino Torretta joining us here on Game Night every Thursday here on 97.3 ESPN, part of the Touchdown Radio Network. Game of the week will be Tennessee hosting Florida. Gino will be on the call for that. Gino, I want to ask you about another team you saw earlier this year that you called. Clemson, you saw them the first week of the season. Well, this Saturday they're playing Wake Forest, and that game is at Wake Forest. And we saw last year Clemson had some issues when they went on the road last year versus some of their ACC opponents. Could this be a game that entraps them, or do you think this Clemson team is built to beat a team like Wake Forest?
Well, I think their defense is built to beat anybody, But I think that, we talked about this after the first week. DJ Uyunglele he's not improving as much as they need him to improve. He's been inconsistent with the offense. You have a new offensive coordinator in Brandon Streeter, and they need to improve a lot. And now you got a situation, Sam Howell's back for Wake Forest quarterback, who's one of the best in the country. And for whatever reason, Clemson has struggled with Wake Forest in the past. But I don't know. If this is a trap game. I think it's a big game. And I think, to be honest, I think Wake Forest is going to win it.
If Wake Forest wins it, does that make them the favorite to win the conference? Or do you think Clemson can bounce back and try to get it?
I think they could bounce back, because of, the team that has recruited the best in the conference by far is Clemson. So they have the depth, they have the talent on their roster. They're just not getting production, on the offensive side of the ball, especially at quarterback. I mean, are they going to make a change? We talked about Klubnik, the true freshman who was, a great player in high school. Is he going to be ready to take over the reins at some point in time? But they need market better quarterback play to bounce back.
And folks can hear Clemson versus Wake Forest at 12 p.m. this Saturday before the Touchdown Radio Network game of the week. Tennessee versus Florida here on 97.3 ESPN. Gino, I got to ask you about this anomaly right now. Kansas, Duke, North Carolina, and Indiana, all historically basketball blue bloods. They're all undefeated. What the heck is going on, Gino?
Yeah, well, it's round ball season early. It's preseason, isn't it? I think it's good scheduling, if you will, of the three schools. But it's gonna start to get tougher as we go through. But I think it's they made some coaching changes and that's worked. I think what we're also seeing situations where schools and teams are able to use that transfer portal. So if they have some holes, on either side of the ball, they're able to fill them. So I think it's fun. I think obviously that, we'd love, we think Nebraska should be good, Michigan and Miami and all these teams should be good to make college football great. So I like the.
I mean, to me, it's hilarious that Duke and Kansas, by the way, for those who don't know, they're playing this Saturday. So one of them is going to lose. I mean, if you had to ask me, Gino, I think Kansas wins that game. And if Kansas wins that game, that means they're 4-0. That's going to be a very interesting conversation.
So you're going to go down the road and you're going to put money on win the Big 12? No.
I don't know about that, but you know what? You look at their schedule before that Oklahoma game, there's an argument to be made that they could be going into that Oklahoma game undefeated.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, if we only had a 3-team parlay for these schools to be undefeated up to this point, we'd have probably made a lot of money.
That's true. I know that Lance Leipold's name keeps being brought up for these head coach openings, but there's a part of me that looks at Coach Leipold, Gino, and I'm like, does he want to leave Kansas? He's kind of headlong into this, making something here.
Listen, Kansas is very difficult to be successful. I think that last time they were successful, Gino was there and, they won the Orange Bowl. I just, how many people, if Nebraska came and said, hey, we want you here, I don't know how you could turn down that because of you not only have Nebraska's brand, but you also have, the Big Ten as a much more powerful conference right now, especially with the amount of money with their new TV deal. If that's one of the schools that offers him, and I think Kansas is just one of those jobs you kind of look in the mirror and go, yeah, can we be good once every 5 to 10 years and compete for the conference championship? Sure, you can. Can you do it every year like Oklahoma or Texas? I don't know if you could or not.
Let me put it to you this way. Right now, Nebraska is open, as you mentioned. That's no job opening. Arizona State is open after, well, depending on who you believe, if that was a firing or a mutual agreement to leave. So of those two jobs, what do you think is the better job moving forward?
I mean, personally, I being from Northern California, I would say Arizona State. But based on the what's going on in the Pac-12, you got SC and UCLA leaving it, going to the Big Ten. Nebraska's already in the Big Ten. I would say Nebraska's the better job because who knows what's going to happen with the Pac-12. Is the Pac-12 going to merge with the Big 12? You got some schools that, Stanford, Cal aren't traditional powers. The best probably football school in the conference left is I'd say Washington, and I guess recently would be Utah. So based on that, I would say the best job of those two would be Nebraska.
You mentioned Washington. Let me ask you about them real quick. Is Michael Penix Jr. like the feel-good story of the year right now? I mean, this guy had, 3-4 different injuries during his time in Indiana, and now he's over at Washington, and he looks amazing.
Well, he looked amazing when he was in Indiana. I mean, he was putting up big yards there. I mean, I remember doing him against Ohio State a few years back, and he lit up that defense. And I'm like, wow, who's this kid? I mean, they were throwing it all over the place. So I think that it's great that he's healthy. Washington's it looks like they've rebounded. They got a nice little defense, and I thought that was just a huge victory and kind of. Everybody, poo-pooing on the Pac-12 as in the off season, they're terrible, and Utah is just going to walk away with it. I don't know. I think Washington is definitely in that mix with SC and Utah and Oregon to compete for a conference championship. That might be so far. I might argue that might be the toughest conference to win right now.
I mean, I'm not going to go out there and say Penix should be a Heisman Trophy candidate, but I mean, I'm certainly enjoying watching him play because I remember seeing all the injuries at Indiana. And I like to see, listen, maybe I'm a sap, Gino, but I like to see it when guys have a comeback and they play well.
And like I said, he's had talent. He's always had talent. And I think now it's just a matter of, now he's healthy again. He's got a new club, and it was an impressive performance.
He's Gino Torretta, of course. Give him a follow on Twitter, of course, at Gino Torretta on Twitter. Touchdown Radio at Touchdown Radio on Twitter. The game of the week is this Saturday, Florida at Tennessee. Coverage begins at 3:30 p.m. here on 97.3 ESPN. And Gino was kind enough to join us again this week to talk some college football. Gino, always appreciate you jumping on, and enjoy Rocky Top.
Will do, Josh.
Of course, our conversation with Gino Torretta being brought to you by my friends over at Jenkins Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Did you know that the Jenkins family helped your football team? Yes. Over 40 years ago, John Jenkins Sr. invented the heated seat that football players sit on today. So if they can do that for your favorite football team to help players weather the extreme cold on frigid game days, just think about what Jenkins can do for your home. Jenkins is the name to call for plumbing, drain cleaning, leak repairs, gas furnace, boiler, or hot water heater replacements. Jenkins technicians do it all. If professional football players count on Jenkins, shouldn't you? Call Jenkins at 609-641-6262, online at jenkinsandsons.com. All right, coming up next, as promised, we will check in on the text board. 609-403-0973 is the text board. You also get DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Jeff in Ocean City and others, I'll get to all your messages coming up next on 97.3 ESPN FM, your home for the NFL, Eagles football, college football. We are your football home in South Jersey.
This is the radio home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles continue the 2022 season this Sunday in Washington against the Commanders.
He is going deep for Quez Watkins, who has it chosen for the touchdown.
Pre-game coverage starts at noon with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 1 p.m. This is where the Philadelphia Eagles play. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's official Eagles station.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Check out Chicky and Pete's all-new happy hour every weekday starting at 4 p.m. Enjoy select craft beers, seltzers, and wines for $5, plus feature cocktails for $7 on our special happy hour food menu. We call it the Bar Board, with world-famous crab fries, tasty pretzel nuggets, and get ready, Curds Aroni, with crispy bacon and Dijon cheese sauce. Chicky and Pete's all-new happy hour every weekday starting at 4 p.m. Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. College football is back. Come join us for XL College Football Saturdays every Saturday starting at 11 a.m. We have you covered. Ice cold domestic draft personal pitchers for just $5. Plus a wing special for you and your crew like no other. 40 classic or boneless Chicky and Pete's award-winning wings for just $60. Choose from buffalo, barbecue, dry rub, or the new kid on the wing block, spicy Thai peanut wings. XL College Football Saturdays, only from Chickies and Pete's.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge.
But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $69.99.
You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
Hi, Tom Bodette here. Just back from the Bodette family reunion, and honestly, I'm a little baffled by my nephew. Last reunion, he was still bouncing on my knee. Now he's hitting his head on ceiling fans. Good thing they stayed at Motel 6, where there's comfy beds with plenty of room to stretch out on. And great low rates because, teenagers eating a week's worth of groceries for lunch. I'm Tom Bodette for Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on. For you.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Hey, Pete, how's business? It's great. Foot traffic's still way down, but more people are finding me online. Nice. How'd you pull that off? Well, the first thing I did was go to mylocalcustomers.com to see exactly how many searches there were for businesses like mine. So I guess there were a lot? Yeah, there were hundreds of local searches every month. So after I saw that, they helped me position my business online to get in front of those customers. That's awesome. I wonder how many people are searching for my services around here. Well, it's quick and easy to get the answer. Plus, it's free. Just go to mylocalcustomers.com to find out. If there are a lot of searches, you should definitely get in front of them. If there aren't, no harm, no foul.
Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free local customer analysis that will show you how many customers are searching online for your type of business. It's quick, easy, and free. Visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
Wireless headphones. That'll be $200.
I'll use my Capital One Quicksilver card.
Now that's a hit. You used the Capital One Quicksilver card, which makes you the hero of every purchase.
With Quicksilver, you earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere.
I wanted running music, but unlimited 1.5% cash back is pretty heroic.
Good instincts. Every hero needs a theme song. The Capital One Quicksilver card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details. I did a site visit, and the space is absolutely incredible.
Este's Reiki Clinic is opening another studio across town.
But there's a lot to wrap up.
But staffing an entire office requires more than just deep breathing.
Receptionist and at least 4 new practitioners.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Introducing the next-gen Acura Integra, featuring an available 6-speed manual transmission, a VTEC turbo engine, and available ELS Studio 3D audio system.
I'm legendary.
And its most important feature, you. The next-gen Acura Integra. Your turn.
Visit your Delaware Valley Acura dealer to find your Acura today.
If it's just another day, that doesn't mean you deserve just another shower. Nebbia by Moen Quattro creates 4 unique shower experiences: relieve, soothe, clarify, and cleanse, to give you all the escape while using 50% less water than standard showers, making your everyday routine an experience. Water designs our life. Who designs for water? Moen.
Why would someone looking for a mortgage at the Jersey Shore take a loan from a company in Detroit or North Carolina or some other far-off place? Online mortgages promise a lot, but don't always deliver. First Bank of Sea Isle City knows the Jersey Shore. We are local lenders. We use local appraisers and provide in-house processing. We understand the unique obstacles of financing in Cape May County. Don't take a chance. Local banking is better. Let us guide you. First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Let's hear what you guys have to say on just a bit here. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on Game Night, 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. It's free thanks to First Bank of Sea Isle. Before we get to messages for guys like Jeff in Ocean City and others, don't forget about my friends. Thursday football tonight. Phillies all weekend long. College football all day Saturday. Eagles this Sunday. Catch all the action at the FanDuel Sportsbook inside Bally's off the boardwalk in Atlantic City. Bet, watch, and win all season long. Plus, enjoy your favorite games from all over the world with 10 betting kiosks, 5 betting windows, 13 big screen TVs, and plenty of comfortable seating. Just head over to FanDuel Sportsbook right off the boardwalk in Atlantic City at Bally's to get on all the action this season. FanDuel wants every bettor's experience to be enjoyable and fun. Visit FanDuel.com/playwell to learn more. Must be 21 or to play and present in New Jersey. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And, you know, when you look at some of the action tonight, you want to jump over to FanDuel tonight to watch the Thursday football game, for example. Tonight's a game where you have to make a decision. You got to make a decision what you believe in more. Do you believe, because these are both one-on-one teams. There is not a lot separating these teams. Obviously, the Browns have Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. So they are not playing with a high-level quarterback. In fact, you could argue Brissett's probably bottom third of the league, right? Pittsburgh, probably the same conversation. Trubisky has talent, but he's probably bottom third of the league as well. So when you break down this game tonight, I think it has less to do with the quarterbacks. That has to do with 2 specific players on each side of the field. Nick Chubb is one of the best running backs in the NFL. We all know that. And Minkah Fitzpatrick is expected to play tonight. He's one of the best safeties in all the NFL. So when you go into this game tonight, if you're one of those people who wants to go over to FanDuel Sportsbook inside Bally's, Atlantic City, and you want to place a wager tonight, you got to make a decision. What's going to win at the end of this game? Is it going to be a guy like Nick Chubb, who actually has more broken tackles than every other team in the NFL combined this year? Or are you going with a Steelers defense that, let's be realistic, without TJ Watt, we don't have a lot of confidence in them. And those who are wondering about the quarterback position, the Steelers have announced they're inactives for tonight. Mason Rudolph is inactive, which means that Kenny Pickett's the backup. Is there a chance you see Kenny Pickett tonight? Now, my inclination to say is if you see Kenny Pickett tonight, they're going to be losing. Look, I tend to believe that in games like this on Thursday night, you want to lean to the home team. But I really don't like the spread. I think this is a number you want to stay away from. 4.5, it just screams trouble to me. But the over-under in this game, I think, might be the safer play. You go around the NFL this year, there's a lot of games that have not gone as we expected. So I'm going to roll with the over 37.5 because in order to hit over 37.5, all you got to do is have a 24-20 game. You got to have a 23-20 kind of game. You have to have a 27-17 kind of game. So I think the safest play is over 37.5. That's the number from FanDuel Sportsbook over inside Bally's off the boardwalk in Atlantic City. All right. Check in with you guys to say 609-403-0973 is the text board. You also can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Anonymous texter, I wish I could give you credit for this, but I thought it was a very interesting point you brought up in this text. Texter says, Hurts has been looking amazing. It looks like Jalen's off-season work is really paying off. His arm strength looks a lot better. He's been making the right reads while mixing in the runs when needed. Also, I love when they're utilizing Sanders and mixing in Gainwell when needed. My favorite part of that text actually was the last part. You're 100% correct. The way they have been subtly working in the run game, the way they have been strategically going out there and using Sanders, using Gainwell, even use Scott on Monday night. I think that the running game is going to be what is going to be the key for this team moving forward. Because people forget, in 2017, when they won the Super Bowl, they had the best rushing offense in the NFL outside of one team. They were third in rushing yards. They were number one in rushing touchdowns. And by the way, that year, they didn't even have a pure leader. It was a tandem of LeGarrette Blount and Corey Clement, and they traded for Jay Ajayi. Remember, they went into that year with Darren Sproles. He got injured, so they had to change part of their strategy. They don't win that Super Bowl without that running game being as dependable as it was going. And that was part of the reason why Nick Foles was able to throw all over the field in the NFC Championship game and then later in the Super Bowl, because the running game was so proficient, it kept other teams honest. So to me, I think that's a great point by the texter. The way they're utilizing the running backs and mixing them in is great. In terms of Hurts looking amazing, look, it's 2 games. I'm not going to get carried away. People know that I'm a believer in Hurts. I don't think he's going to be as good as he was Monday night efficiently every week, but I don't think he's also the guy who had a 57%, 56% completion percentage in week 1. I think he's somewhere between the 80% on Monday night and the 57% in week 1. I think he's probably closer to like a 63, 66% quarterback long term as a completion percentage. And as long as the offensive line has a bunch of penalties again, he should be fine on Sunday afternoon. Jeff in Ocean City says, I watched most of the Washington-Detroit game. Wentz makes a ton of mistakes. It's from Jeff in Ocean City. I don't know about a ton of mistakes. You know, the problem with Wentz is that I think Wentz still wants to be a gunslinger, and I think there's still that part of him that's hesitant. So he overthinks. He doesn't get the ball out, right decisions immediately. So it's less about mistakes unless it is about, he's not making the right decisions. Now, how much of that is him? How much of that is the play caller in his ear? It's hard to know. I just don't think Wentz is a bad quarterback. For as much as I've hated on Wentz and I've trashed him back in 2020 here on 97.3 ESPN FM, I just don't hate him. Another anonymous texter says, Hurts will be an average quarterback at best when he plays a real defense. Have you looked at what Hurts has done against good defenses? Subjective point. The Saints are supposed to be a good defense, and both times he played them, he's had good games. What's a good defense in the NFL anymore? It's such a subjective conversation. Are the 49ers a good? Well, they got a good front, but not a good secondary, right? The Chargers, they're supposed to be good defense. What is a good defense anymore? I think the better point is that Hurts is not an elite quarterback right now, and you still have to play a well-rounded game to win games. I'm Josh Hennig. Have a great night, everybody. All right, this is for the YouTube crowd. Thank you for watching on YouTube. Hit the like button, subscribe. At Josh Hennig here on YouTube. Thank you for watching on the YouTube channel. I just want to bring up a point before I get out of here, and that is evaluating the quarterback position is arguably one of the most inaccurate things in the world. And even if you're someone who gets more quarterback prognostications right than you get wrong, I think that evaluating athletes in sports is one of the trickiest things because there's one aspect that a lot of sports fans don't want to admit, okay? You heard that texter anonymously texting in. One person anonymously says, Hurts looks amazing. The other person says, Hurts doesn't play well against good defenses. And the problem is that both of them are right and both of them are wrong. They're both right because both of them are pointing out things that they have seen. They're both saying, look, on one hand, Hurts is the reason why this team has won for the first 2 weeks of the season. On the other hand, the person is saying, yeah, but he's not high-level enough quarterback like a Patrick Mahomes or Justin Herbert to overcome certain things. Doesn't mean he's a bum. Doesn't mean he stinks. It just means that if you're not Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, we, as a sports fandom, don't expect you to be able to carry your team. Maybe Joe Burrow, well, he was in that category till the last 2 weeks where his team has not played well. I think part of the problem is that when we as analysts and as sports fans analyze players, we put them in these extreme categories. He's amazing. He stinks. And it could be neither. It could be somewhere in the middle. The majority of athletes are neither elite or horrible. They're somewhere between average to above average, the majority of them. If you find the median of professional athlete analysis, they're probably somewhere in the middle. So I encourage people who are football fans to just take a time out, try not to be so extreme when it comes to some of these conversations, and realize that when you're talking about Jalen Hurts, for example, or even Mitch Trubisky, I think Hurts is better than Trubisky as a quarterback. Doesn't mean Trubisky can't win on Thursday Night Football, but doesn't mean he's going to keep his job either. People are calling for Kenny Pickett to play. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Mason Rudolph is inactive today. That means that the Steelers are confident enough in Kenny Pickett that if something happened to Mitch Trubisky, that they will go to Kenny Pickett. Doesn't mean Pickett's going to be great either, but there are tiers to these things. And I just think that context has to be king. And we as a society actually have to be less inclined to be extreme in our opinions and be more measured and more thoughtful and more objective and less emotional and subjective. That's all. I'm Josh Hennig. This has been Game Night. I'll catch you guys tomorrow night, 6 p.m. following Mike Gill in the Sports Bash, 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, and live right here on YouTube. Like, subscribe. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.
Navage is good personal hygiene, and it's going to help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens,